talk a little bit about hydroponic today. I got these buckets from work, and I have a smaller bucket, and then I have this larger bucket, and it's frosting buckets I can get from the bakery at work. And with hydroponic, they have these rocks that they want you to use, and so these aren't the ones that they show on a lot of YouTube and what they want you to use. These are the red cinder rocks that we have here in Oregon. These are volcanic rock, and I have a video on the volcanic rock that I have on the property, the huge slabs and what have you. And we have just lots and lots of rock here of all sorts of sizes. But this is the red cinder. And if you can see, let me take this one here out. It has holes in it, just like the clay that they ask you to use. So the clay rock that they want you to use. And it, if you can see here, how dark this one here is, it absorbs moisture. And what I have in here is a tomato plant, and the water isn't that deep. I mean, it's not up around the plant that much, but you can see how these rocks soak up the water, and yet the plant will still be able to, the roots will still be able to breathe. Now, I just put this in yesterday, so the roots aren't really out, as you can see, around the plant and what have you. Now, I just have well water right now in this. I haven't put any nutrients or anything. I'm going to put black strap molasses in this. And your molasses, your blackstrap molasses, is more of a pure molasses. It has all the nutrients your plant needs: calcium, phosphorus, everything. It's also good for your body as well. As well for your plants. You can use it in the hydroponic, and you can use it just as a fertilizer for the rest of your plants. It'll help make your tomatoes and what have you, peppers, tomatoes, and whatever, a little sweeter from the soil. I mean, even your berries would be sweeter with it. Although berries are more of an acid type soil plant, like the blackberries here, they grow wild over on the coast of Oregon. And I mean literally wild. They're everywhere. There's some places out in the woods you can't even walk through because the blackberries are so thick. But they're delicious. They're really good. Same with strawberries. Strawberries are also a acid type soil. They like the sawdust, the leaves from the fir trees, the pine trees. After it starts, all that rots and stuff. We have strawberries that grow wild in Oregon. Maybe other states too, I don't know. Probably Washington and all. We also have wild blueberries. And when you're picking those, you have to be careful because the bear like them too. And the bear will be out in those fields where those blueberries are growing. And the bushes get fairly big. I mean, they get tall enough to where you can't see over the top of them. And so that way the bear will be in there eating on them while you're picking them and not even see them. I've picked some of them up there on the coast of Oregon, but I never encountered a bear during the time that I was picking blueberries. And you talk about sweet and good blueberries. They are just fantastic. But let's get back to the hydroponic. You can use just about any size bucket. You can use a tote. You can use anything. I have well water, and actually I'm not going to put anything in this water for a couple of days due to the fact that with well water there's a lot of nutrients in your well water. Some well water is not good. We have an area here in Oregon, here in Central Oregon, that has strychnine in the water, and you can't drink the water. It's a very deep well. The wells are like 300 feet deep, and then when you hit them, and if you're lucky, you might get a good well, but a lot of times you hit a bad well, and sometimes you don't even hit water. You'll totally miss the water. But with city water, they're all the time, what city water really is just recycled sewer water. That's exactly what it is. So they put chlorine and other additives in the water to keep so you can drink it. And chlorine is not good for your plants at all. And if you can see here, you can see the pepper plants are coming up, the hot pepper plants. I have one little one right here, one right there, and then there's one here. And this light here that I have, it's a neat little light. It is made for pots. You can see that. It shines right down to where it's right into the pot. You can see how the stevia is doing, and the chamomile is still growing. It's slow, but it's growing. Our days haven't been fantastically warm. Like today, it's raining and cold. Cold today. And there's the tomatoes, and that's where I got that one tomato plant, so I'll take another couple of tomato plants out of here. These are just cherry tomatoes, so they're not going to be real huge. And you can see that the figs and everything are doing good. But my thing is with the hydroponic is I'm just going to keep using these rocks that I have here. They're porous, they'll hold water, and also aerate, help aerate the roots as well. And you can see that the lettuce is doing really good. Getting very big. Have it along the edges here. Have one inside with my fig tree. And you can see how the flowers are doing really good in here. Even the azalea is blossoming. So as soon as it gets warm enough during the night, and there's a blackberry bacon, you can see that they're blossoming in here. When the doors open in the afternoon, the bees and stuff come storming through. And here's the lemons, how they're doing. But this bucket here, this bigger bucket, I don't think you can see it, but there is a circle here on this lid, and I don't think I'm going to use this I think I'll just put it in the center. I think with the tomato I would put it in the center. When I do cucumbers and what have you, I'll probably put it on the side so the cucumber can go down, because I'll probably put these on the top area. I might even put them on this rack so they can drop down, or I might even, it's many different ways I can do this. Last year I had my cucumbers in one of these big pots outside, and I had one of those tomato cages on it, and it worked really well. It opened up enough that the bees could get into the blossoms really easy, and yet the cucumbers could hang down and grow real well and not touch the ground and have any rot spots on them because of the soil being too wet. And the bugs didn't seem to bother them any that way either. So the hydroponic, like I say, don't use, if you can, I mean, you have to probably use city water. These are really good for areas that don't have a lot of water. You can't go out and just irrigate every day or every other day or whatever. If you're, don't have a good well, or if you're having water tanked in, these buckets, the wick buckets, they work. I have a couple of them and they work really well. You fill them up with water and it just wicks up to the top. The water wicks up to the top. So you don't have to water them as often either. And so those are good for areas that don't have a lot of water. If you don't have a lot of water, or like I say, if you're having your water tanked in, these type of plant growing ideas are great. Big totes, you can put 4 or 5 different lettuce plants in a tote. And just, cut the holes in the top of the lid, fill your tote up with water, and pretty much, put your soluble nitrates, nutrients in the water and walk away from it. Pretty much. I mean, it's not gonna, it will to a point because there is an opening, but it's not going to, evaporate very quickly because it is going to be, and the bigger the plant gets, the less it's going to evaporate out of the pots and out of the buckets and whatever else you have. And you can start the seed right in these even. People have done that. I don't know if I would want to do that, but people have. So, but you can see how the the greenhouse is doing right now. Everything is getting very lush and very green, clear to the back to the currants. And there's that lemon tree. It's almost buried with all the foliage that's in here right now. So remember to subscribe. Push the bell to be notified every time I make a video. Make a comment, whatever you want, however you want to do a comment. And no one can make you happy. Happiness comes from within.